And we are live. Good to see you folks. Glad to see you. Got a great show for you. You're going to love this. We got a lot to get through, so let's just dive right into it. Let's hit it. Good morning, people. Hope your coffee's as good as mine. I have a little something for you this morning, a little aperitif. If you don't know what an aperitif is, just a little drink before dinner. Very popular in Europe. Just a little drink before dinner to whet your appetite, to get you in the mood for the main story. If you grew up playing outside, if you're Gen X, you know what these are. And I want you to stick with me, folks. This is just a little something to set the mood. You know what these are? These are contrails. They're condensation trails. Where they come from is the same thing as when you go outside on a cold day and you breathe and you can see your breath. Condensation forms. The way it works is talk about a jet engine. A jet engine is basically, it's just a stick with fans on both sides. In the middle is a combustion chamber. When you hear a jet engine starting up at the airport, you hear that. That's electric motors getting those fans turning. And once the fans get turning, the ones in the front suck air into the engine and compress it into the combustion chamber. And in the combustion, they'll finally light the combustion chamber. You'll hear the and you'll hear it take off, and all of a sudden the fan starts really spinning fast. The jet blast out the back turns additional fans on the same stick that are turned the other direction, and that forces the ones in the front to turn. So it uses its own combustion to create its own compression, and you got a jet engine, folks. It's really that simple. Fan in the front pushing in, fan in the back to catch some of the exhaust and spin the fan in the front, combustion in the middle. And you got a jet engine. That's simple. When you take a jet engine and you fly your plane up into the atmosphere, there is condensation in the air. Air has a certain moisture point. That's why your weatherman talks about the dew point. The dew point is just the temperature at which the amount of moisture that's in the air will condense. The more moisture that's in the air, the higher the temperature at which it will condense. Warm air can hold more moisture, more air than cold temperatures. That's how we get rain, folks. There is moisture in the air. The temperature drops below the dew point. The moisture in the air begins to condense together. It condenses into raindrops and falls to the ground. That's how you get rain. Yeah, it's snowing right now. WGO Strict says, yeah, that's how you get snow also. It's just really cold, and that condensation turns to snow, which is what these contrails are. It's just frozen constant condensation. The temperature coming out of a jet engine is really hot. And just like when you see a glass, you see condensation on the side, that happens from a disparity of temperatures between what's in the glass and outside the glass, right? Really simple. Not a big deal. High school science. High school science. Well, they're also the source, a huge source of conspiracy theories. See, the conspiracy theorists call them chemtrails. They took the play on what they're really called, contrails, and they call them chemtrails. As in, these people believe that is chemicals being dispersed from these airplane engines. And man, the conspiracy theories are, I mean, well, I'm telling you, it's insane the number of from mind controlling chemicals to chemicals intended to kill our crops, to not allow people to grow their own crops, so that they have to be reliant on their grocery store and their government. I mean, they're really out there. And you would think a government would have better things to do than entertain stupid conspiracy theories. Well, you would be wrong if you thought that. You would be wrong. The Republicans in Tennessee actually took the time to pass a bill. It is Senate Bill 2691. Oh man, I hope your coffee's as good as mine. That is just hitting this morning. And House Bill 2063 that makes chemtrails illegal. Yeah. I'm not kidding. I mean, it's funny. It's funny. It's not funny because they really spent time, tax money, when we have real issues to deal with this in this country. The Republicans really did this. You cannot make this stuff. I love you, folks. Yeah. You cannot make this stuff up. See in the comments in the chat, you cannot make this stuff up. Yeah, you can't. You just can't make this stuff up. Meanwhile, things are looking a little bit better on the Democratic side of the House. Joe Biden's been campaigning and having a good time with it, folks. And having a good time with it. He really is. He had a fundraiser here in Dallas. We brought in a lot of money. He was telling a story that just it was really fantastic. Very touching story. He was explaining that while he was out on the trail, on the campaign trail, a man came up to him and told him, just yesterday, a defeated looking man came up to me and said, Mr. President, I'm being crushed by debt. I'm completely wiped out. And Joe Biden paused for a minute and just said, I had to tell him, sorry, Donald, I can't help you. Joe Biden has been having a lot of fun on the trail at Donald Trump's expense, and I got to tell you that the strategists are correct. He's got to stop doing this. He really does have to stop doing this. But there have been several of them. I mean, there have been really some good zingers that he's been coming out of, and the lay people are loving it. People like you and me, they're loving it. But the strategists that are working with his campaign are begging him to stop. Please, let somebody else, like James Carville said, please, Mr. President, let somebody else do your wet work. Please, because you just don't want to, you don't want your main candidate out there just dunking on his opponent. I mean, but I'm loving it, folks. I am absolutely loving it. And it's really pissing the Republicans off. It really is. I mean, they're not having a good time at all. You've got Marjorie Taylor Greene that's just losing her mind. Just absolutely losing her mind for a couple reasons of their own creation. The first of which is the budget. And we'll talk about that because that's important. That's important work. She's losing her mind about the budget. See, old Preacher Johnson, he's not living up to his promises. They've got a rule in the House. The Republicans passed this rule because the Crazy Conference, of which Marjorie Taylor Greene is one of the founding members, said we need 72 hours to review any budget proposals so that they can submarine them, so they can cause problems. Mike Johnson said, no. We took a vacation, instead of working, we took a vacation. And if we don't pass a bill by this afternoon, and I mean this afternoon, if they don't get it out of the House and passed by this afternoon, the government shuts down. Because it's still got to go to the Senate. And there's some shenanigans that are there in the Senate. And if this bill isn't signed by the president by 12:01 a.m. tomorrow morning, the government shuts down. So yeah, that's where the Republicans have us again. But that's not the only reason she's losing her mind. And it's getting good, folks. I mean, it's really getting good. And kudos to Midas Touch here for pulling these two things together. Marjorie Taylor Greene says she's done with Mike. And remember, the rule's still in place. Only takes one congressman to call for a vote to have him removed, and it's done. It's done. And she says she is done. One, because she's pissed off that he's negotiated with Democrats about the budget. And two, well, they've got a new boredom border talking point. See, the border's become really repetitive. It's become really repetitive. So, like I told you before the election, there would be a caravan. There would be something that one of the right-wing frat boys get together with the Russians down at the Russian embassy in Mexico City, and they will coordinate some stunt. Well, they got their stunt yesterday. But I want to call your attention to something on it. Down in El Paso, not Eagle Pass this time, El Paso, they had a group of young men come up to their razor wire border. Well, I'll just show you the video. I'll just show you the video from Marjorie Taylor Greene. And we're going to take this apart. This is the worst agitprop I've ever seen. It is really just useless. Okay, so that's the video that's going around in the right wing all over the place. It's freaking hilarious. It is hilarious. Let's take it apart, okay? To begin with, where does it come from? If you go back to the Midas Touch and look at the very bottom of Marjorie Taylor Greene's share, it says where it comes from. It comes from DC Drano. DC Drano is a Russian conduit for misinformation. He's an influencer. He's an influencer on social media, on Instagram and XChan, and he is constantly passing Russian conspiracy theories. So let's take a look at this agitprop. Agitprop, if you're not into politics or whatever, it's staged, fake, whatever, just to elicit an emotion from people. So let's take a look at the old DC Drano, where this video actually originated from. And let's take a look at it again. And to start with, let's look at our actors. They had a casting call for young Mexican men. And they told them to wear dark jackets and hoodies, because they're almost all dressed the same. They're almost all, this is not an eclectic group of people. These are all young men the same age. The second thing I wanted to call your attention to is, why did they come to the barbed wire? If they go, these are young men, obviously. I mean, they sprightly young men. Walk a couple hundred yards that way, and you walk around the barbed wire. Go a couple hundred yards this way, and you go around the barbed wire. And there's no guards standing there. No one to stop you. See, that this whole fiction that this nonsense barrier here, you see, it's not even in the ground. If you look at the bottom there, it's just a base with sandbags on it. Is not all across 1,280 whatever miles of Texas border there is. It's in little postage stamp size areas. And it's there for show. It's there for, it doesn't effectively do anything. Because like I said, you could just, yeah, exactly, Paul Young, Acme Security. You can literally walk around this, right? So why did they come here? Why did a group of men all the same age show up here where there happened to be, how many times have I told you, every time something like this happens, there happens to be a camera. Somebody standing there with a camera to watch it happen. Now let's watch it again. Let's watch it again. All the same age. Now the right wing spin on this is they attacked the guards. They pushed through. They pushed through. And if this is really a violent insurrection, why didn't they attack the guards? The guards aren't armed because they can't be. This is Texas Guard. This isn't American military troops. This is the Texas Guard. They're not armed at the border. They're not really there to do anything. Huh. Okay, this leads me back to my original question. Why here? Why here? If this is real, why here? I mean, obviously they didn't get through. I mean, all they did was run up to a gate, a installed crossing in this border fence. And cut. You notice they edited it off right there because nothing happens after that. It's agitprop, folks. It's agitprop. It's just like the caravans. They're paid to be there. And the reason they're there is everybody's lost interest in the border. We're tired of hearing it. It's all the Republicans say over and over again is border, border, border. It's called border boredom. There's a word for it. People are tired of hearing it. You vote against everything that we could do to fix any of these problems, but then you just border, 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 border. And so they had to have, yeah, exactly, Martha Salinas, no women or children. This is not an eclectic group. This is a group of paid actors. And you see it. Yeah, Irene, not only does Putin love it, he coordinates it. This is coordinated. This is the kind of stuff I was telling you. The Russians are doing out of their embassy in Mexico City. They are working with right-wingers here to create this BS because they got nothing else. They've got nothing else. I mean, literally, folks, you have to ask yourself, if you're really these people, right? If you're really these people and you come to the border and you look and directly in front of you, well, there's razor wire. But right over there, there isn't. And right over there, there isn't. And the only place that there are guards is right here. First of all, why did you end up right here? Second of all, why not just walk around? Because this was agitprop. What you saw is what they intended you to see. No kids, no women, no families, all paid young men told to wear dark clothing because you got to look menacing now. You got to look menacing. And then they run up to the gate. Look at me. Look at me. Wave my hands. Look at me. It's crap. It's crap. It's all made up crap because the border shit's lost its steam. Everybody figured it out. The Democrats are like, okay, fine. Let us hire judges, staff. Let us put some more Border Patrol agents down there. Let us put scanners at the border. Let's put sensors at the border so that we can detect drugs. You know, the same thing. They have bomb sniffing machines. They have drug sniffing machines. Let's just do all this. And the Republicans are like, no, we can't do that. We can't do that. Well, that's another reason old Farty Marge is pissed off. Farty Marge, the elevator flatulator, is pissed off because of the budget. It's because of the budget. See, they're out of time, folks. And they just took a 2-week vacation. And Preacher Johnson knows this government shuts down after they just took a 2-week vacation, having the least most productive Congress in American history. Yeah, he knows what this does to Republicans. So he's willing to make deals, man. He is willing to make deals. And this budget has a lot in it. Folks, I want you to take a second. I want you to fill your coffee mugs. I want you to do me a favor. I want you to reach down and hit that thumbs up button. Let's get as many people recommended. Let's get as many people in this audience as possible because people need to hear this. People really need to hear this. So let's talk about the budget deal. Let's talk about the budget deal. And oh, by the way, Mike Johnson said they're going to immediately go to vacation again right after this is over. There's a strategy behind that. Congress rushes to approve final package of spending bills before deadline. Yeah. And folks, let me give you a couple things here. The time frame. One, like I said, 12:01 a.m. This doesn't have the president's signature on it. The government shuts down. It does. And it's still got to get through the Senate. You know, the Senate is priming everything, but you've got your usual Russia-loving idiots. You've got Rand Paul. Peach Tea Tina, I appreciate the support. I really do. You've got Rand Paul, Mike Lee, Russia Ron Johnson. All of them have vowed to stop this. They're going to use every parliamentary procedure they have available to them. They're going to stop this funding bill. And what has Farty Marge, the elevator flatulator, the Russia-loving elevator flatulator, so upset, and Russia Ron Johnson and everybody else is Biden really just had his way with the Republicans. He really did. He really did. We took it on the chin for a couple things. The Republicans got to hurt a few people. Which is what they like to do. They got a 1-year moratorium on funding for the UNRWA, which is those are the folks that I've been railing about. I can tell you I'm not losing any sleep or any tears over that, but it was what Republicans consider a win, which cuts off funding for Gaza, for support for Gaza, for aid for Gaza. That's what the UNRWA does. They run the schools and ship in the aid to Gaza. There's a 1-year moratorium on that. I have been screaming that the aid doesn't need to be cut off, but it does need to be changed. The way we deliver aid needs to be changed because, bottom line, you've got to, and Bernie, this is for you, bud. It's just trolls in here complaining about me drinking coffee. I don't give a damn. But yeah, the UNRWA it needs to be reformed. It does. The UN's broken, especially when it comes to aid, when it comes to peacekeeping and whatnot. The UN is just broken. We need to come up with a new system for that. I'm okay with that. I really am. The moratorium bothers me a little bit in that it doesn't do anything to fix anything. It just hurts people, which is what Republicans like to do. But on the other hand, Joe Biden has already got the military involved. They're building the badass pier where they can just bring ships up and deliver aid directly. They don't need the UNRWA. They're getting it done. They're getting the aid. This isn't going to stop aid for Gaza. So yeah, we took it on the chin for that. The other way we took it on the chin was Joe Biden got his border funding. He did. He got a considerable chunk of his border funding. The only thing is that the Republicans demanded that it not be any funding that actually fixes anything. It's only funding that hurts people because they're Republicans. So the border funding we got was to put more people in jail, basically. So yeah, I mean, it's a win for Biden. He got some border funding. But again, it's because it's Republicans, it's just funding that hurts people. It's not funding that actually fixes the problem, and it's not nearly enough. It's not nearly enough. On the other end of it, we Democrats, we did really well in these negotiations. We did. Not only do we get some more border spending, which again, the border boredom, tired of hearing them say border. We got the border funding through. We got an additional $300 million for Ukraine. Remember, they said they weren't going to do anything for Ukraine. That's in the bill. They could actually ratchet that up in the Senate and then send it back to. See, here's the problem. If they'd make any changes at all in the Senate, then it's got to go to a conference committee and be reconciled before it's sent to the president's desk. And they don't have time. They really don't. So if they ratchet up some more funding in the Senate, they've got to get it back to a conference committee, which will take more time and the government will shut down. Which again, I have no problems with a bit of a government shutdown. I really don't. It's the weekend. All vital services will stay in place. It will be for just a few hours. So yeah, I'm kind of okay with it. We got an additional $1 billion for Head Start. You got another $120 million for cancer research. We got another $100 million for Alzheimer's research. And again, $300 million for Ukraine, which is a big freaking deal, folks. That is to pay specifically for more shells for General Barkenfire, the Abrams tanks that we sent over there. It's to buy additional rockets for our missiles for our Patriot batteries. It's to buy artillery shells. It's for munitions, folks. Small arms munitions. $300 million is a good deal. It is a big deal. $100 million for Alzheimer's, $120 million for cancer research. Nice. Good job. But as usual, the story is the Republicans are just there to hurt people. So they actually got a 6% reduction in funds going to nonprofits. Specifically, they wanted to aim it towards nonprofits that that help immigrants. You know, they claim about immigrants. They complain about immigrants. They complain about immigrant crime, but NGOs that help them get settled so they can just get to work and act like any other citizen would here in the United States, they want to take their funding away to try to make people as desperate as possible because, you know, desperate people commit crime, and that's what they want. Everything they do. When they fought for Title 42 down at the border, you know, these again, I talk about these numbers that they keep putting up: 7 million people, 8 million people. It's a lie. It's a lie. Title 42 was in place back from COVID. We tried to get rid of it. Title 42 jacks up your immigration numbers. Greg Abbott sued to keep that in place. Finally got rid of it. If you look at the numbers after Title 40 was taken away, immigration plummeted. It plummeted. But, we still got the agitprop, right? I mean, Republicans had plenty of time for that. They didn't have time to do their jobs this year. They only passed 30 bills in Congress. Even Marjorie Taylor Greene is calling them a failure. What are you going to do, folks? What are you going to do? That's what Republicans are. And we got more hearings on the impeachment. The impeachment is dead. The Republicans thought they really were going to try to revitalize this. They were going to bring in Tony Bobulinski, who ended up being just humiliated. Dan Goldman just absolutely slayed the guy. The Russian witnesses the Republican witnesses, same difference, was Tony Bobulinski, a guy that was kicked out of the company that Hunter Biden was a part of because he kept trying to involve the vice president. So they fired him. They got rid of him. So look, you're not welcome here. We're not doing that. Get out. And the other guy that they had as a witness was a guy that's in prison. But yeah, this was great. Dan Goldman.
Claim my time, Mr. Chairman. Please control the witness. I would like to get a little extra time, Mr. Chairman, because I want to read what Mr. Gilliar said to the Wall Street Journal. Quote,
Gilliar was their partner witness that's in prison. He's in prison.
I would like to clear up any speculation that former Vice President was involved with the 2017 discussions about our potential business structure. I am unaware of any involvement at any time of the former Vice President. The activity in question never delivered and project revenue. 9 days later, the agreement without Joe Biden was signed. You and James Gilliar wanted Joe Biden involved, and that is why Hunter Biden dumped you and did the business on his own.
That's a blatant lie, Mr. Goldman. You know better.
That just utterly destroyed, the Republican sausage here, Tony Bobulinski, because he was really trying to sell this story that when he was briefly part of the business because he made a bunch of claims about fundraising he could do and then couldn't do any of it. All he ever wanted to do while he was there was try to get close to Joe Biden. So Hunter Biden said, "You're fired. You're out. We don't trade on the family name here. That's not what we do." So they fired this guy for it. They fired him. Their other witness contradicts him and says, no. I mean, the Republicans' own witness says no. Let me play it one more time so that you understand all the players. The guy he's reading from is the guy in prison that they are actually using as a witness. They think it helps them. Listen to this.
Claim my time, Mr. Chairman. Please control the witness. I would like to get a little extra time, Mr. Chairman, because I want to read what Mr. Gilliar said to the Wall Street Journal. Quote, I would like to clear up any speculation that former Vice President was involved with the 2017 discussions about our potential business structure. I am unaware of any involvement at any time of the former Vice President. The activity in question never delivered and project revenue. 9 days later, the agreement without Joe Biden was signed. You and James Gilliar wanted Joe Biden involved, and that is why Hunter Biden dumped you.
Yeah, that didn't go like the Republicans thought it was going to. And it got even better. It really got even better. You've got Max Frost here just scorching the Republicans. The one right after the other. They had Bobulinski there. He thought he was going to be something special. Then the Democrats brought in Lev Parnas. And Lev Parnas destroyed the Republicans. Absolutely destroyed. I've got a few clips. I won't. There's so many great clips out there, but I don't want to just sit here and play clip after clip after clip. But some of these are just fantastic to just absolutely destroy the Republicans. I interrupted that. Let me start it over. Ron Johnson was our guy in the Senate. Lev Parnas was working for Rudy Giuliani in the Trump campaign to push misinformation. Ron Johnson was our guy in the Senate. Hold on, folks. We're having that issue again. We got to find out which one. The streaming platform will just choose one. Let's see if we can get sound out of one of these clips. It's a problem. I'm working with StreamYard. I'm in contact with their engineers. They realize it's a problem. It's not anything on my end. It's the streaming platform itself. Has a real problem working with X. Imagine that. See if you got sound coming through on this one.
When I was arrested, my original indictment linked me to an individual referred to as unindicted co-conspirator 1. We now know this individual to be Congressman Pete Sessions, who sits on this very committee today. Ironically, when I was arrested, my original indictment linked me to an individual referred to as unindicted co-conspirator 1. We now know this individual to be Congressman Pete Sessions, who sits on this very committee today. Ironically, when I was arrested, my original...
Yeah, unindicted co-conspirator number 1. That's Pete Sessions. You, Pete Sessions, who's sitting right here on this committee. I mean, Lev Parnas just literally just gutted them yesterday and showed their involvement over and over and over again. Tell me if you got audio on this one. Yeah, let me see if we can get it. 1 second. We're not in a rush today. It's Friday. It's not playing. That's why there's no sound. Let's see if we can get it. X is trash. It really is trash. It's just been falling downhill over and over and over. Worse and worse and worse. They just don't have the engineers on the payroll. So any video clips you take off of X are just a huge problem. Anyways, and that one, forget the clips. I'll just explain. And that one, you have Lev Parnas telling folks that this guy, that Bill Barr killed an investigation into this guy. This is Dmitry Firtash. He's a Russian oligarch who is at Putin's right hand. He is currently in Vienna, where we're trying to get him extradited, but we're having a hard time doing that because Belarus has made a Russian oligarch their ambassador. Yeah, to try to complicate extradition. He's wanted for embezzling funds from the gas company he worked for, about to the tune of about $18 billion, and for violating sanctions and getting Russia titanium. See, Russia makes titanium. They do, but they can't make enough to. They with the sanctions that are piled against them, they can't make enough to support their war effort. So Dmitry Firtash here was getting them titanium from other sources, and we're trying to extradite this guy. But Bill Barr, according to Lev Parnas, killed the investigation. The Chicago FBI office, because that's where the main commodities trading exchange is in Chicago, has been working, trying to get Dmitry Firtash to where they can prosecute him. And Bill Barr just stands up and says, no, we're going to kill that. And Lev Parnas tells them, he says, I was there in the room when they were on the phone with Bill Barr, listening to their conversation, and you've got the folks I'm working with Rudy Giuliani telling Bill Barr, kill the investigation on this guy. He's helping us dig up dirt on the Bidens. So yeah, I'm thinking there needs to be an investigation there. There needs to be an investigation there. Let's see if we can get that audio now that we've killed the other two. Let's see if we can get that audio from Frost to play. I love Max Frost. You know, we Democrats just have some of the best young, smart, professional people available. We just do.
The Republican Burisma report would be your, quote, guy in the Senate to push all the information, end quote. What did you mean by that?
Senator Ron Johnson was our guy in the Senate. He was told to me that when we push the information, he's going to push it in the whole.
They'll get an audio on this.
So when the media was getting skeptical about pushing disinformation after they've proven it wrong time and time again, the plan was to have a U.S. Senator, Ron Johnson, to push that disinformation even further.
Because we had Congressman Nunes already doing it, so Senator Ron Johnson jumped on board.
This Congress, both Chairman Comer and Chairman Jordan, have centered this entire sham impeachment hearing on an FBI tip sheet. This tip sheet made wild claims about bribery that didn't even come close to being backed up. And in fact, it's all being proved to be one big lie. Mr. Parnas, is the allegation in the FBI tip sheet based on the same fabricated claims that Donald Trump and Rudy Giuliani flew you to Ukraine to dig up?
Yes.
I also want to make it clear that the informant allegedly behind this tip sheet is facing criminal charges for lying about the Biden family and was a known fraud for years before that. The same fabricated claim kept popping up and getting smacked down over and over again. In fact, our colleagues at the Foreign Affairs Committee did some amazing work on this investigation and found that this lie dates back to December 2015, almost 10 years ago. Do you happen to know the article that I'm referring to?
I don't know the exact article, but I do know that the slide has started way back in 2015.
Started about 10 years ago. It was an article entitled, quote, "The Ukrainian Scam of the Biden Family," end quote. And it was posted to a Russian language media website registered in a city in Russian-occupied Crimea. Mr. Parnas, do you have any doubt that this fabrication claim, the claim that Donald Trump and Rudy Giuliani sent you to Ukraine to try to dig up more information on, is part of Russian propaganda and an effort to destabilize Ukraine and undermine our democracy?
As I said here today, I have zero doubt that Russia's involved. This is a Russian campaign to interfere in our elections.
Thank you. Authors of the...
So yeah, we've got, and folks, I'm going to pause this for a second. I want you to take it. This is Max Frost. He is one of our young new legislators. He's out of his districts in Orlando, Florida. He is a sharp guy. Pay attention to Max Frost. He will be someone you see a lot of in the future. Well-spoken, intelligent, good background, good resume. These are the people that are the future of our party. And he lays it out crystal clear there. You have Lev Parnas, who at the time was working for Rudy Giuliani with the Russians to import false information. They were working with Ron Johnson. They were working with Jeff Sessions. They were working with Bill Barr. They were working with the Republican establishment to attack Joe Biden, and they have not stopped. They are working with our enemy today. They are working with our enemy to not just hobble our support for Ukraine, but try to take down an American president. That's what the Republicans are today. Forgive the snafu there we had with the videos. XChan is just a disaster. Anyone else, I can stream off anything else, but XChan is just the worst. They are just the worst. But that's not the end of the Republicans' problems that are just fomenting and coming to a head. We have new information coming out that the RNC is already funneling money to Donald Trump. They have a new fundraising agreement with Donald Trump called Trump 47, where they are taking money brought into the Republican National Committee. They're holding fundraisers. They're having a big one down here in Mar-a-Lago on April 6th. The first $6,000 of any donation coming in goes to the Trump campaign. The next $5,000, now imagine you're a Republican donor and know that this is the new Republican National Committee fundraising agreement. The next $5,000 goes to Donald Trump's Save America PAC. And what is the Save America PAC? What do? They do this. So far, they are burning through $230,000 a day in legal expenses for Donald Trump. Now, I'm going to be honest with you folks. I think this is going to shake out and it's going to turn out he's pocketing cash. That's where I suspect this is going, because I don't think they're really paying lawyers $230,000 a day. I think this is him grifting money straight out of his PAC to pay for anything. I am thinking on my trip that I'm flying down to my rally, I am thinking about my court case. Therefore, I'm going to have all the gas in my plane paid for by the Trump America PAC. I mean, I think something like that. You're going to see that he's grifting the cash, but they are literally ripping through $230,000 a day in disclosed money going to Donald Trump's legal woes. They're not bringing in $230,000 a day, folks. They're literally moving backwards. And just to give you an idea how hilarious this is with the Republicans. The RNC, their cash on hand at the end of February was $11.1 million. Nikki Haley, who's not even in the race anymore, has $11.5 million on hand. I mean, the RNC is broke. The Republican Party is dead. It is dead as disco. And it's going to be worse, folks. It is going to be worse because of this new Trump 47 fundraising agreement. Imagine that you are some young Republican getting on the ticket thinking you're going to be the next J.D. Vance or whatever. There's no money for you. There just isn't. It's all going to Donald Trump. It is all going to, the Republican Party is over. All that's left is MAGA. And MAGA dies in November. MAGA dies in November. And Trump knows it. Trump knows it. If you don't think Trump knows it, you haven't been paying attention to what he's been saying. See, there are Republican strategists left. There are. The old school, Frank Luntz, those guys. There are Republican strategists left. But they're in full freakout mode because Donald Trump has started the chorus. The Wall Street Journal has a great article on it. They did an interview with him. Donald Trump is already claiming the 2024 election is rigged. It's rigged. And the Republican strategists are all screaming, stop saying that. Because if you tell people it's rigged, they don't take time out of their day to show up and vote. You're literally suppressing your own vote, which I'm okay with. I am really okay with. But yeah, he's already started. He knows. He knows. They are going to grift as much money out of the RNC as they possibly can. And they're already saying it was rigged. It wasn't rigged. You're just a loser. You're just a loser. So yeah, folks, that's what I wanted to talk to you about today. We've got brand new, I told you, you're going to get a caravan. You're going to get this agitprop down at the because of the border boredom. People are tired of hearing it. They're tired of hearing it. They don't want to hear about the border anymore because they know the Democrats have a plan. We've got a plan to hire judges. We've got a plan to hire staff. We've got a plan to put backscatter radar scanners down at the border. We've got a plan to put drug sniffers down at the border. We've got a plan to make this much more efficient. But you know, what did the Republicans do? The only funding they pushed through? Funding to hold people in cells. That's it. That was the border funding that they let get through. Just more to hold people in cells, to hurt people, is all the funding they would let through. Not to fix the problem. So people are done with it. Done with it. James Rhodes, I appreciate the drug sniffers, Don Jr. No, they're actually, you know how there are bomb sniffing machines at airports? When you drop your luggage off at the airport, it goes through a sniffer. Back in the back, when they take your luggage through, it goes through a sniffer, and it smells for the chemicals that are in explosives. They have those machines that can smell for the same chemicals that are in narcotics. And it doesn't matter how well you wrap something, or if you bury it in something. You know, there's a lot of people that believe you can hide drugs in coffee and stuff like that. It doesn't matter. The chemicals will be there from the loading process. All they have to do is open the back, stick the probe in for the machine. It will take a sample, and they'll know if drugs have been in that truck or not. If they get a hit, they pull that truck aside. And then they search it. That's what Democrats want to do. Make things smooth and fast. Use technology. What do Republicans do? Let's build a wall. Let's put some razor wire down on people's riverfront property. You know, let me tell you something, folks. Let me tell you something. I will tell you, Greg Abbott, if you see this, I want you to know this, you son of a bitch. If you put razor wire on my riverfront property, I would rip that. I would take my tractor, I'd tie a chain to it, I would rip every bit of that shit up. I would put it on a flatbed trailer. I would drive it to your house and dump it in your front yard. These people did not buy this property on the Rio Grande River so that they could not have river access. And yeah, Paula, I hear you. Trump is trying to grift all he can as fast as he can. And the Republicans, they know they're going to lose, folks. They know they're going to lose. They didn't have time to get it in this budget. So they're going to do it for next budget when they know they're going to lose. They know they're going to lose their majority. So they're going to try to do as much awful crap as possible. Mike Johnson has come out and said they're going after Social Security. They are. They've already said it. They're going to raise the retirement age from 67. They haven't told us what age, but everything they've said in the past says they're going to raise it from 67 to 70. And then they're going to cut benefits for Social Security. They've said that they want to increase your cost for Medicare. Folks, this is not me making this up. This is their budget, their budget proposal. They wrote this down and said, read this. This is what we want in the next budget. And they think it's a winner. And if you don't believe me, the trolls have already started on social media trying to sell why this is a good idea. They are. They're all over social media right now trying to sell that, yes, raising the retirement age is a good idea. Cutting benefits is a good idea. But what isn't in their budget? Repealing Trump's tax cuts for billionaires. Nowhere in their budget. Nowhere. You know what is in their budget proposal? Joe Biden has been capping the costs of medications for Medicare and Medicaid. It's in their budget to repeal that. Yeah, I'm not even kidding. They want to repeal. In this budget, they only put parts of their cap out. Steve McLeod, I really appreciate you, my friend. I really do. I appreciate all of you up in Canada. I really do. We've got a great international audience here. A lot of really smart people all over the world watching this show. We've got a problem. The international press are owned by many of the same billionaires that own the press here. So what they get told in Europe is this craziness, a lot of the craziness that you see out of our corporate media. Being able to get out to folks in Scandinavia, to, in Europe, Eastern Europe, Africa, Australia, Canada, that yes, this is not the way we people think and do what you're seeing on your news. We have really nice folks here that really believe in, hey, let's let the government do things that we can't do for ourselves. We can't run a hospital district. Let's let the government do that. And just to wrap that subject up, Goldman Sachs just put out an article. They did an interview with Fox Business. And the point of the article was that curing people is a bad business model. Yeah. I mean, they're not wrong. They're not wrong. From a capitalism point of view, curing people is bad for your business. And they said that out loud. I mean, Goldman Sachs said that out loud. The Republicans said out loud, we're going to raise the price of your drugs again. We're going to raise your retirement age, all the Social Security stuff you paid for. Barger, I appreciate the support. I really do. I really do. I appreciate it. Helps me get this message out. Hit that thumbs up button, folks. Hit the subscribe button. Believe me, it gets this message out and doesn't cost you a thing. But yeah, they have just out and out said, Goldman Sachs said, you know what, curing people is not the best business model. Treating people is where you make your money. And they're not wrong. They're not. On the flip side of that coin, killing your patients is also bad for your business model. It is. It's bad for your business model. So the best business model from a capitalist point of view is just treat your patients enough that you can make a lot of money, but not enough to cure them, and not so little that you let them die. I appreciate the support, Lady C. Hag. I appreciate you. I really do. No kidding, folks. They made this argument on Fox Business. This is why we have social capitalism. Because their argument really isn't wrong. If capitalism runs your hospitals, curing people is really a sucky idea. So you need the government to do things like, I don't know, rural internet. That kind of hits home for me. Rural roads, rural schools, healthcare that actually cures people. Cancer research, we just got $120 million. The Democrats just got $120 million to fund research because we're this close to curing cancer, folks. We're this close. But curing cancer really is not a good business model. Treating cancer is. It's a great business model. Curing it, not so much. Because if you're just treating it, man, folks need you. They got to find that money somewhere to give to you. But if you let them die or cure them, well, then you've lost that money. That's why we have government, folks, to do things that we can't do for ourselves and the capitalists won't do. That's why we have social capitalism. That's what we have. In Europe, they're a little better at it than we are. In Canada, they're a little better at it than we are. The priorities are a little different. But it's the same system. You start a business, you engage in capitalism. That's a good thing. You live in the dream. That's a good thing. But the government being there to do things for us that we cannot do for ourselves. You cannot control meat processing. You cannot control, when's the last time you gave your child medicine that you thought might kill them? You don't worry about that. Medicine helps. Why? Because the government. It didn't used to. Medicine used to kill people, folks. It did. They would put anything, colloidal silver. They would put anything in medicine and tell you, oh, this is what you give your kid when your kid is sick. They don't do that anymore. Why? Not because of you, because of the government. That's what I've got for you today, folks. I really hope. Yeah, cocaine. They used to put cocaine in all kinds of medicine. Yeah, Footlog, you're absolutely right. They used to put cocaine. I'm no kidding. That was a staple in just about every kind of medication because, man, that Bolivian marching powder makes you feel great. Oh, I love it. I love it. I told you. We're gonna go through it again. MTG, Marjorie, the elephant. Thank you, William. I appreciate you. William G, the atheist #1. Can't watch the news while I do the show. Thank you for spotting this. I love you folks in the audience. I really do, because you're just on top of shit. She just filed a motion, according to William G, atheist here. She just filed a motion to vacate the speaker, and we're going to have another vote. Oh my God. The Republican Party is dead. The Republican Party is dead. Well, folks, that's all I've got for you today. I appreciate you. I'd love to do a roundtable, but I don't really have time for it today. I apologize. There are things that I have to do and things that I have to prep for next week. So our next roundtable is going to probably be next Wednesday. Thank you for the wonderful comment there. Thank you very much. Thank you for all the support. I really appreciate you. It keeps the lights on, allows me to do this full time, and allows me to do some more fun projects that you're really going to enjoy. I really appreciate you. I saw a lot of people say they wish they had the It's Not Rigged, You're Just a Loser cups. You can get those. Go to my website. Mrs. Texas Paul or somebody will put the link up for you where you can go to my store and get it. I appreciate the support. I really do. This is Old Texas Paul out. Y'all have a wonderful day and enjoy some Texas cities at night.